Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bethel Be Organizing, where I help people organize their homes for free. In today's video, we are organizing this toy room, and we're going to make it super easy for the kids to put the toys away and hopefully be able to just keep it clean by themselves. This room is a daycare toy room, and believe it or not, it looks like this after about an hour or less of the kids playing. And I feel like this shelf doesn't help at all for the kids to be able to put the toys away, and a lot of things just fall behind because the containers, the way they're slanted, then you can't fill them up all the way and everything just falls to the front. And if the kids bump it the wrong way, then the container will fall off the shelf. So it's probably not a very good thing for toys. I don't know of anybody who has this kind of shelf that they actually like it. Most people just say they wanted to try it out because it looks good, and then they end up being like, I want to get rid of it because it does not work for my family. But maybe we're using it the wrong way. I don't know. If you have this kind of shelf and it actually works for you, let me know down in the comments below how you like it and how you use it, so we can know if we're doing it wrong or if it's just not a good shelf. But enough about the shelf. We're going to talk about this rug. So she actually wants to get rid of this rug, but she wants to put something else there that's not a rug because the rug is really hard to clean and she has to carpet clean it so often and it just gets dirty really fast. So if anybody has any ideas of what might work in a daycare room to put on the floor where the babies can just sit there and play and not have it be such a hard surface, leave your ideas down in the comments below and we will help this mom find the perfect solution for this toy room. For now, we are going to leave the rug in here until we can find something better. But first, I gotta sweep all this dirt that was underneath and we're gonna mop this floor. As we're cleaning up this floor, we're going to talk about the solution we came up with for her toys. Like I said in the beginning, this shelf was not working for her. The kids would just dump everything out and they weren't even playing with the toys. So the shelf had to go. We decided we're going to get a cube shelf and we're going to have 1 or 2 toys on each shelf. And that way it will be easier for her to rotate the toys out, and there's not so many toys out that the kids can just throw them all over the floor. I will show you that later on in the video, how we set it up, but that's kind of what we ended up doing. Now that we are done mopping this part of the floor where the rug goes, we're going to let it dry, and as we're waiting for it to dry, I'm going to go through some of the toys, and we're going to help her kind of decide what we want to keep out and what we want to put into storage so that she can rotate the toys out. If we limit the amount of toys that we leave out and just rotate them every week or so, this will make the kids feel like they have new toys every week, and it also helps them to actually play with what's on the shelf instead of just throwing everything on the floor and then their mind gets so cluttered up because there's too many decisions to make and they can't decide what to play with. These bins just accumulate all the random things that come around the house. So they're not good for a daycare. Maybe they work better for just like 1 or 2 children, but for a daycare, they did not work. As we were going through these toys, there were some toys she didn't know if she wanted to keep. So we actually made a time will tell bin, and that is where you put anything in there that you're not sure about keeping and write a date on there. Give yourself some time to think about it. And if by the time that date comes, then you haven't touched it or even thought about those toys, then you can go ahead and donate those. Now that this part of the floor is dry, we put the rug back down and we're going to vacuum this rug again because it just kept getting dirty so fast. I vacuumed it probably 6 or 7 times, but I took those out of the video because I kept having to vacuum it. I see what she means now when she says it just gets dirty so fast. Now that the floor is clear and the rug is put down, we are going to start setting up the cube shelf. We got this off of Amazon, so I will link that below if anyone is interested, and we're just going to start setting it up. She was trying to decide between this shelf and an IKEA shelf. So we ended up going with this one because when we measured the wall, then the IKEA shelf would be a little bit too big for what she wanted. So she ended up going with this shelf, and the shelves are a little bit smaller, but she wanted it to be able to fit in that space and also have more shelves. This shelf turned out really pretty and it felt really sturdy, but there were just so many screws and other things that it took forever to put it together. So I feel like the IKEA shelf is way easier to put together, but this one still turned out really nice. There were so many screws to assemble this shelf that by the end of it, I actually had blisters on my hands, and maybe that's why the shelf came with cloth gloves. I don't know if that will help, if that would have helped to not get blisters. But if I had to compare the two, I would say an IKEA shelf was way easier to put together, and there weren't so many screws, and it was just self-explanatory on the instructions. This one was less clear on the instructions, and it just took way longer. We are finally done setting up the shelf, and we've got the toys put on, and then we're going to sweep up this floor. And I actually did vacuum the rug once more, but I'm not going to show that because I already showed you guys twice. As soon as we were done setting up this shelf, the kids came running over and just started putting all the toys on the shelf. So that was kind of cute to see all the kids get excited about putting the toys away. So I feel like this is going to work really good for her. I've actually done this for another daycare before I started doing YouTube, and they have said it worked really well for them and it keeps their toy room very clean. It helps to limit the amount of toys that you leave out for the kids because they will see an empty shelf and be like, that is where my toy goes when I'm done playing with it. We also did not label the shelves because she's going to be rotating the toys out so often that it wouldn't be worth to put a label on it and just having it change so much. That's why we didn't label it, but labeling does help a lot with kids to keep things organized. But if you have any other tips or tricks on how to keep kids' toys organized, leave those down in the comments below because I love seeing your guys' suggestions. And it also helps anyone else that might be watching to be able to go back into the comments and see any ideas that might help them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you guys in my next one.